Introduce yourself.
Thank you. Well, my name is Grace Jenkins, and I'm currently 28 years old, and I enjoy reading, cooking, and also singing during my free time. And after my parents' death, my sister offered me to live with her and her wealthy husband, and I rejected her offer because instead I met a man and also I lived with him for many years.
Thank you. So my name is Emma Chapman. I'm currently 25 years old, and I live in Great Britain in the countryside. There's really nothing to do there, so my dreams are to travel, and I just love learning new things, and overall I just want to experience new things too. My parents own a farm in the countryside, so we don't really get to travel unless we're going to go to the market to sell things, which I just love to go with my father.
Is that it?
Yeah.
How was your life before the war?
Well, I was happy. The man that I met earlier, well, I got married to him, and I loved and still love him. And then my husband, it has been a tradition from his family to run a butcher shop, and I helped him out there. And also I was a teacher at an education center, so I could earn extra money to buy a new house with him.
Just a small town girl, living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere.
I'm joking. So before the war, I left my parents with a letter. They haven't really replied to it, so I don't know if they're disappointed in me or not. So I ended up volunteering for the war as a nurse, and my dad was a taxidermist, and if you don't know what a taxidermist is, it's basically taking an animal and stuffing it so that it seems alive and it's for display. And so I guess because of that, I didn't really find bodies, like cut up bodies, really disgusting.
What changed when the war started?
Well, my husband was conscripted to the war, along with many of our male friends, even elder friends, which is kind of surprising. And since my husband left, I had to run the butcher shop without him, which led to me having a lot of stress because it was a new experience which I never had the opportunity to deal with before. So that was interesting. And then I had to sew my own clothes because they were much too expensive to buy, and most of the clothes were sent to war. And also, one thing that I came across many times was our shop had to close down because we didn't have enough meat to sell because of the war. So since my butcher shop closed down really often during the war, I had to work in a weapon factory because I didn't get any money to survive and buy food. And there I met many supportive friends who also had husbands at war. And that was very nice because they experienced the same thing as me. When I was working at the factory, I had a little amount of pound sterling, which was a bit hard to live with. And even though I didn't have that much money, I was able to survive, unlike other people who died because of the lack of food and nutrition.
Okay, well, I got signed in as a nurse during the war, and I helped as many people as I can. I also made many new friends, wounded soldiers, and like other nurses and basically everyone who was there. But for a few times I changed locations, so I changed between campsites because some nurses were unavailable, and it's completely different from my hometown since the countryside was quiet, and during the war you can totally see the difference that the war was violent and bloody while the countryside was relaxing and peaceful. When I switched from the campsite to near the trenches, it was completely different. From the campsite, the soldiers would come to us, and we would hear the bombing and everything from the distance. But when I got closer, I could see that it was totally more violent, more bloody, and I could just see everything happening.
Have you come across anyone or anything important during the war?
I got to know a lot of different soldiers and nurses. I made a lot of new friends. But there was one special soldier, and he lost a leg and an arm, specifically his left one and his right leg. And he always wrote in a book, and he died of blood loss. He died in my care along with some other doctors and nurses, and he told me his death wish, which was really important to him. And afterwards I continued nursing for a while, and I got sent back to some area in Great Britain to hire some new nurses. But yeah, he was very special to me since his death wish really means a lot to me.
Well, I met a nurse, and she's still a very important person in my life currently. And what happened was she showed up to my house, and she told me that my husband died, and thank you. It was horrible finding that out, and I felt extremely bad. And she also gave me letters that didn't get sent, and also a diary, and they were all written by him. May 14th, 1918. Dear Grace,
Every day without you makes me realise how much I love you. Today in the trenches, a grenade hit me and caused me to lose my right leg and left arm. I asked a close friend of mine, who is a nurse, to bring this diary back to you. I love
always was and always will be yours, Edward.
What did you do after the war ended?
After my husband's death, I kept the butcher shop that his family owned because I thought that it was a piece of him that I really had to keep. So I kept the butcher shop because it means a lot to me, and also his family, which I still keep in touch with. And also I didn't want to break the tradition of his family, so I kept it, and now I'm currently the owner of the shop. And after meeting the nurse, I invited her to stay over and live with me since I had this big house all by myself. And also I did this because I know that my husband would have wanted me to do that, because in his diary he expressed how grateful he was for her, and I think that this is the only way I can give back to her. And she helped me a lot with the butcher shop, and also she kept my job in the education center, which is my old job, and I'm really glad that we met each other.
Well, actually, that time when I got sent back to hire new nurses in different locations, that special soldier, his death wish was actually for me to bring that book he always writes in to his wife. So when I went to those different locations, specifically in London. The wife invited me into the house to live with her because I didn't really have anywhere to go after the war, since I left my parents, and it would be kind of hard to start a new business and everything. So currently I help her at the butcher shop, and I also took her old job, and I'm also currently supporting her, as she really means a lot to me. Hi, are you Grace Jenkins?
Yes.
This came and it's from your husband. The wife invited me into the house to live with her because I didn't really have anywhere to go after the war, since I left my parents, and it would be kind of hard to start a new business and everything. So currently I help her at the butcher shop, and I also took her old job, and I'm also currently supporting her, as she really means a lot to me. Oh, hello!
Hey, what are you doing here?
Wait, what? How do you guys know each other?
Oh, well.
The nurse that I was talking about in my video is actually Emma.
And the wife of the soldier where I was accomplishing his death wish is actually Grace. And so basically the whole connected story is that
Emma, the nurse, she accomplished my husband's death wish by bringing to me his diary.
and after the war I was going to contact my family members, but I met the lovely Grace here. And so I was going to contact my family members, but bad news came from Grace, and she had a miscarriage, and I stayed to support her.
Emma.
You didn't tell them?
Oh my god, Emma.
I'm so